It was a Monday, my favorite day to visit the mall. Quiet, calm, and almost meditative. The usual weekend crowds were gone, replaced by a gentle hush that made the vast space feel like my own private world. I always loved how the early hours brought a sense of possibility, as if the day hadn't quite decided what it would become. The hum of escalators echoed softly, blending with the distant chatter of shopkeepers setting up for the day. The scent of cinnamon drifted from the bakery, warm and inviting, making the air feel cozy despite the mall's size. It was the kind of smell that made you pause, just for a moment, and breathe a little deeper. I wandered, hands in my pockets, people watching, one of life's best free shows. Stories unfolded everywhere. A kid's meltdown over a toy, a couple's first tentative handhold, friends laughing over coffee. Each person seemed to carry their own little universe, and I found myself inventing backstories for strangers as I strolled past. I debated a pretzel, lost in thought, when I noticed a man pushing a woman in a wheelchair. The way he moved, careful, attentive, caught my eye, pulling me out of my daydreams and into their quiet orbit. They moved slowly, peacefully, as if the world around them didn't exist. The crowds parted gently to let them pass, and for a moment, it felt like time itself slowed down to match their pace. He was tall, gentle. She was bundled in a blanket, head bowed. There was a tenderness in the way he adjusted the blanket around her shoulders, a quiet conversation happening in gestures rather than words. Just another pair of shoppers, I thought. Another story in the crowd. Yet something about them lingered in my mind, a reminder that every person here was living a story I'd never fully know. I smiled, appreciating the care between them, and continued my walk, unaware that my ordinary afternoon was about to change. The mall, with all its familiar sights and sounds, suddenly felt charged with possibility, as if anything could happen. Little did I know, this moment would become anything but ordinary. Sometimes, the most unexpected stories begin on the most unremarkable days, in the most familiar places. As they drew closer, the details sharpened. The man looked like a movie star. Crisp shirt, warm smile, attentive to every need. He adjusted her blanket, pointed out shop windows, always gentle. It looked like love, the kind that restores your faith in people. I imagined their life, quiet moments, deep bonds, him as her rock. She was so still, and he did all the talking, her voice seemingly lost to her condition. He was her world, her connection, her hero. I painted a perfect love story in my mind, inspired by their grace. But sometimes, the stories we invent are just that, stories. And this one was about to unravel. They stopped near a bench, and as the man knelt to tie his shoe, I finally saw her face. Her eyes weren't peaceful. They were wide, filled with a quiet, desperate fear. The image of devotion shattered. Something was wrong. I remembered a childhood friend's hidden terror behind a parent's smile. Was I imagining it? Maybe she was in pain, I reasoned, but the alarm in my gut wouldn't quiet. The man stood, smile back in place, but she flinched at his touch. It was subtle, almost invisible, but I saw it. The perfect picture was cracking, revealing something darker beneath. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was witnessing a carefully constructed lie. The alarm bell in my head grew louder. I started watching every detail. I couldn't just stand by. I had to know the truth. Something about the way they moved together, the tension in the air, made it impossible to ignore. My heart pounded as I watched them, searching for any sign, any clue that might reveal what was really going on. I approached with a friendly smile, pretending to check the store directory. My hands trembled just a little, but I forced myself to look casual, as if I was just another shopper lost in the maze of stores. I glanced at them out of the corner of my eye, trying to catch their reactions. Excuse me, do you know where the bookstore is? I asked, looking at both, but especially at her. My voice was light, but my mind was racing, hoping she'd see this as a lifeline, a chance to connect, even if just for a moment. The man answered instantly, polite and helpful, playing the perfect gentleman. His words were smooth, practiced, as if he'd done this 100 times before. He smiled, but there was something cold behind his eyes. But I watched her. Her eyes flickered with something like hope. For a split second, she looked at me, and I saw a silent plea, a glimmer of longing for someone to notice her, to see past the surface. I complimented her blanket, trying to draw her in. "That's a beautiful blanket," I said, hoping to give her a reason to speak, to let her know I was interested in her, not just him. "It looks so cozy," I said, giving her a chance to speak. I smiled warmly, encouraging her to share even a single word, to let her voice be heard, if only for a moment. Before she could respond, he stepped in, answering for her. His interruption was swift, almost rehearsed, as if he couldn't risk letting her say anything at all. He built a wall with his words, making it clear all communication went through him. Every sentence he spoke was another brick, shutting her away from the world, from me, from any chance of connection. She was invisible, and he was the gatekeeper. The more he spoke, the smaller she seemed to become, shrinking into herself, her presence fading with every passing second. The mask of the caring husband was slipping. His smile was tight, his eyes darting, as if he was afraid I might see through the act. I could sense the tension building, the truth straining to break free. I pressed on, determined not to let her disappear. I knew I had to keep trying, to offer her a lifeline no matter how small. Sometimes, a little small talk can be the first step towards something bigger, a chance for someone to be seen, to be heard, and maybe to find hope again. His smile tightened, eyes cold. There was a chill in the air, a tension that seemed to radiate from him, even as he tried to appear pleasant. The mask he wore for the world was slipping, just for a moment, and I caught a glimpse of something darker beneath. "Thank you. I picked it out for her. She gets cold easily," he said, shutting her out. His words were smooth, practiced, but there was an edge to them, a subtle warning not to question his authority. He spoke as if she were invisible, as if her thoughts and feelings were his to control. He answered for her again, building his wall higher. Each time he spoke over her, it was like another brick added to the barrier between her and the world. His dominance was quiet, but absolute. I refused to let him cut her out, turning to her. "It really suits you." I wanted her to know she was seen, that her presence mattered, even if he tried to erase her voice. Her lips parted, a tiny sound escaped. She was trying to speak. There was a flicker of hope, a spark of courage fighting to break through the silence he imposed. He cut her off. "She doesn't talk much. Her condition, you know. Easier if I handle things." His interruption was swift, almost rehearsed, as if he'd done this countless times before. He made her seem incapable, reinforcing his control. He patted her shoulder, not with love, but with warning. The gesture was meant for me as much as for her, a silent message to stay in my place. He reduced her to a problem, dismissing her in front of me. His tone was patronizing, as if she were a burden he alone could bear. The alarm bells in my head blared. Something was deeply wrong here, and I couldn't ignore it any longer. This wasn't care, it was control. Every gesture, every word was about power, not protection. He hid his cruelty behind her disability, playing the saint. To outsiders, he looked like a devoted partner, but I could see the truth in the cracks of his performance. But I saw the fear in her eyes, the flinch at his touch. Her silence spoke volumes, telling a story of control and quiet suffering. The perfect prison he built was starting to crumble. In that moment, I realized that even the strongest walls can't hold forever, not when someone inside finds the courage to reach out. Then I saw it. A single tear slid down her cheek. She didn't sob or speak, just sat there, perfectly still. That tear was a silent scream, a plea for help. My heart broke. I couldn't walk away. He didn't notice, too busy performing for me. She quickly wiped the tear away, hoping he wouldn't see. But I saw, and something inside me shifted. I couldn't ignore her pain. That tear was a message, and I had to answer. I looked at him, still talking, still fake. He tried to end the conversation, but I wasn't leaving. I was a witness now. I had to help her. I just had to figure out how. I took a deep breath, heart pounding, and looked him in the eye. She looked like she wanted to say something. "I'd like to hear it," I said, calm but firm. The tension was electric. His mask dropped, revealing cold anger. "That's none of your business," he hissed, grabbing the wheelchair to leave. I stood in his path. When a woman is crying and her husband won't let her speak, that's everyone's business. People started to notice. I looked at her, her eyes wide, a mix of fear and awe. He stepped toward me, trying to intimidate. "Back off," he growled. I was scared, but more afraid for her. I stood my ground. "No, I don't think I will." The crowd watched, the truth finally exposed. I refused to back down. My no was a spark. He exploded with rage, lunging at me. In his fury, he forgot the wheelchair between us. His legs slammed into the footrest, sending him tumbling to the floor. He landed in a heap, groaning in pain, clutching his shin. The intimidating man was now a whimpering mess, defeated by his own anger. Security rushed over, people stared, the drama peaking in the most unexpected way. No heroic fight, just a bully undone by his own carelessness. His power shattered, his control gone. He had no one to blame but himself. As he lay moaning, I heard a sound, a laugh. The woman in the wheelchair sat up, her face transformed, eyes sparkling. Her laughter grew, clear and bright, echoing through the mall. She looked at her fallen abuser and laughed, not with cruelty, but with freedom. Years of pain released in one glorious moment. She turned to me, grinning, and said, "Looks like he's the one who needs a wheelchair now?" The security guard stared. I laughed too. She wasn't helpless. She was strong, witty, a survivor. Her silence had been strategy, her voice now a weapon. In the chaos, she found her strength and her humor. Sometimes, the best revenge is just to laugh.